Okay, so today's been an extremely interesting day for all markets. Ho. It's been an interesting day. First of all, as you can see right in front of you, China has had some crazy action in the stock market. Matter of fact, over the last few days, as it says right here, China has gone from a severe recession worries to basically posting the biggest gains we've seen since 2008. To be a little bit more specific, by the way, if I look tired, it's 4 a.m. as I'm recording this right now. But I don't know why I keep doing it this way. Shanghai's composite index just soared over 8% today alone, and it basically puts the index up over 20% over the past 5 days, more than double the average of the entire S&P's yearly return. It will basically be like the S&P going from $5,000 to $6,000 in just the span of a week. Truly unprecedented. Meanwhile, the Beijing index, which is kind of even more crazy, is up 23% today alone, and this marks the biggest daily gain in history for the entire index. Just days ago, they were concerned of deflation, but what happened, you might ask? Well, they started to flood the market with hundreds of billions of dollars, and they basically said there's a lot more coming. Just by cutting the bank's reserve requirement by 50 basis points, over $140 billion worth of liquidity was added. Anyway, you might ask yourself, Dusty, why are you bringing this all up about China? First of all, because China is a big part of the world. Let's make that clear. But second of all, because of this little box on the right. But this brings up the same question we faced in 2020, right? It's all about inflation. And they're wondering, can the deflation be beaten? Can we get back to just a regular inflation, a proper one, right? Around 2% is what you usually want to see. But what happens if there's too much stimulus, to boost the economy, and you actually get too much inflation? After all, the central banks around the world are cutting rates like we are in a recession while calling for a soft landing. Because, well, it's a lot of things combined right now. And as a couple of these comments are saying, first of all, it doesn't really sound sustainable. Again, guys, I am pretty bullish on all markets, and China has been doing amazing for a long time. But this amount of stimulus is pretty crazy. And some are saying that this might be too euphoric here, because this soaring that we're seeing right here is unprecedented. It's the biggest soar we've ever seen. And the reason I'm bringing it up, for the most part, is also because the Fed over in the US is now saying they might want to go for another 50 base point interest rate cut in November, which is coming up rather soon. But all of this brings up one rather interesting question. How would the landing be? The Fed's jumbo interest rate cut that we saw about a week ago or so puts the US on track for a soft landing, the Goldman CFO says. And even though this announcement of the rate cuts, generally speaking, is quite bullish, some are convinced that it's a little bit too bright, a little bit too shiny, and that things are so bad in the background that rate cuts to this heavy of an extent will overall only make things worse. And because so many people are really excited, that we go too euphoric too quickly and get a massive crash going. But if we're talking Bitcoin, I'd say it's actually being quite similar, where all of a sudden, perhaps because of all this euphoria in the traditional markets, we also saw a pretty interesting price increase. I mean, Bitcoin went to what? 66,000 or so just now? And to me, it's always funny as well how quickly people change. Because right now the price is down, what, like 4% or so? And all of a sudden, all the euphoria we saw yesterday is gone. I think for the most part because some of these altcoins fell significantly. By the way, XRP was also like, I think 66 cents earlier today. And you can see the euphoria quickly shifted after prices fell ever so slightly. And I mean, if we're taking a look at the memes, they're actually still doing quite okay, at least for the most part. Yes, you might say, oh, but Dusty, I seem like minus 9%, minus 8%. Sure. But let me tell you one very important thing, right? If Bitcoin starts crashing and people are worried, all of these would be minus 20 or something like that, especially with a minus 5% move in Bitcoin. If people all of a sudden really had gone from euphoria or at least excitement to scared again of the Bitcoin price falling down, you'd see some very, very negative numbers. This is actually quite tame. Matter of fact, I'd say it's actually quite good because some of them are still on the upside. And I think that's because even though if you only look at Twitter, you'd say that right now is one of the most devastating days ever. It's kind of funny. Generally, really, I think the narrative over the last few weeks has shifted from, oh, we might actually go lower to, no, the bottom is in. We're only going to start going higher from here. Yes, it will be like this. I don't know how to, like that. Regardless, before we move on, there's actually something quite interesting I want to tell you guys about. According to onchain.org, the DeSci industry is valued at an impressive $100 billion. However, the entire sector really has not popped off yet when it comes to crypto. It's only worth like 350 mil. And for that reason, there's probably quite a lot of opportunities in the sector. And as the market's not fully green just quite yet, we're just at the starting phases, it might not be a bad idea to start looking into the next up and coming things. So there's a project called Wellshare Health that are basically building a new Web3 app, also mixed in with some AI, in which you can personalize contributions to medical research. Interesting. So we've had a lot of people talk about this right now, but I think for the most part that's also because they've got their pre-sale going on right now. Specifically, phase 2 is starting today or tomorrow, depending on exactly when you're watching this. Anyway, they raised $300K in the first round without any marketing. You can check the rest out for yourself over on their Twitter. Anyway, just go ahead and check out their Telegram and follow them over on Twitter, because they might be onto something pretty cool here. Anyway, to get back to the point though, and this is one thing I think a lot of people are forgetting because they think too much about the real short-term gains. First of all, if we take a look at October, and just October, one thing that becomes quite apparent is that 80% of them have been green. Now, past results, or I guess past data, does not, promise future results, but 100% of the election years had a green October, November, and December. 100% of the years with a green September had a green October, November, and December. September is green, and this is an election year. It's hard to not be bullish here. Well, from any perspective, with all the massive promotional campaigns that are going on, with even Trump now, we'll get to that in a second, launching his own crypto project, I think it's quite hard for this run to not be harder than ever before. Even right now, the Ohio Senator Neeraj Antani introduced a bill to allow state and local taxes to be paid in Bitcoin and crypto. I still think a lot of it will depend on exactly what's going to happen over in China or Asia in general, like GCR said a little while back. Regardless, though, I think, really regardless of whatever happens over in China, that all the ETFs buying, it's kind of overshadowed on the short term, but over in the long term, it will shine. And you'll notice just how much it matters that all these institutions are not letting go of the supply anymore. They're just stacking. Now, to get back to Trump, he just posted, or at least he's been posting a lot over the past few hours. He's apparently not been hacked, but let me quickly go back here to his post about his coin. He basically said, "I promise to make America great again, this time with crypto. World Liberty Fi is planning to help make America the crypto capital of the world. The whitelist for eligible persons is officially open. This is your chance to be part of a historic moment." Now, obviously, there's only like a month left or so until Election Day. This is a very interesting strategy. Let's just say it like that. It's a very interesting strategy for him to launch such a thing just before an election. Is it smart? Is it extremely stupid? I'm not 100% sure just quite yet. All I know is that this man alone is fueling the crypto space by a whole bunch. Being an ex-president, and perhaps the next president, who has been pushing crypto like never before. Again, you might say he's making a mockery out of it all. Or perhaps you might put that it's all a scam, it's all bad, yada yada dibbity doo. All I know is he's putting crypto on the map, baby. Anyway, there's also a lot of bullish excitement, obviously because of the FTX proceeds coming back to the people. And what that basically entails is that FTX went bankrupt a while back. Everybody lost money, cool. Or, not cool, but you understand what I mean. And the FTX estate has been selling off those assets for a long time. And so instead of all the other quote unquote bad repayments, in this case here, people already, or I guess all of us already paid the price of them selling all the crypto before, and people basically get their money back in cash form, which means that a lot of people will buy back some of the crypto that they lost, obviously boosting crypto prices. Side note though, Trump is going on a tangent, my friends. I don't know. I think all of a sudden he's found his Twitter account again, from almost tweeting nothing to just going absolutely crazy here over the past few days. And a complete side note, something on a completely different level. Some meme coins have been going crazy, man. There was one coin, I don't even want to name it, that went to like $350 million. Right now it's back at 250 mil. It was a coin of a hippo. And it's just kind of funny how crazy viral and crazy quickly viral it went. And it makes me realize that this cycle, to be honest, it's really all about the freaking memes, man. If you're not into memes at all, you might want to consider, it's what I've said a few times already here. Anyway, regardless of how bullish I am, I always want to quickly warn, things can go bad. It might sound kind of stupid, and people always mock me in the comment section for saying this, but I always look at it from a multi-month perspective, not a daily thing. Even though I'm bullish on October, November, December, I think things are going to start doing really, really good from here. My ultimate goal is about 10 months or so into the future. Let's just say August of 2025 for the ultimate top. And so all the way towards there, it is going to be a volatile time. And like Martini guy here said, it might be a shakeout right now. Be careful. Despite being bullish, there's nothing preventing a flash crash. The only thing I'll say to that is that's always the case. There's literally nothing out there that can prevent a flash crash, if you understand what I'm coming from. So it's kind of a stupid thing to even point out. On the opposite side, it's always nice to warn people. The reason I am also not 100% invested right now is because I am personally waiting for the market to really go up so hard that it's hard to deny the altcoin season. Right now, we're still in one of the phases where people are not 100% sure that this is where things are going to push through. But you know what? That's it for today's video. I'm out.